Have you ever heard the term, thoughts are things? In this episode of Putting on the New You, we're going to begin the discussion of what thoughts are, how thoughts are formed, and how thoughts work with the Spirit. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, and thank you once again for tuning back into Putting on the New You. My name is Melvin Nix, and I really appreciate everyone who's been taking an opportunity to look at the videos and the information that we've been putting on our Instagram page as well as Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for the wonderful comments, and hopefully the information is something that you're able to utilize in your day-to-day life. It's all designed to help better and improve your life and your experience. So hopefully you're learning some things as I'm putting these lessons together for you. And if you have not, please take an opportunity to go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, and look at any of the videos that we've done previously so that you can familiarize yourself with what the channel is about and learn some more information if you haven't seen the previous videos. And check out our Facebook and Instagram account. There's good information there too. So please take the opportunity to do that. I sincerely appreciate it. Now, let's get into the next lesson. Previously, we were discussing what the conscious mind is and what the subconscious mind is. Let's do a little bit of a recap there. Remember, we were saying that the conscious mind acts as a guard keeper of our spirit that we own and that we possess. The conscious mind stands as an armed guard, and as we perceive information, as we go about our day-to-day, and even as we lie down to sleep at night, all of that information that we see during the day, conversations that we've had, music that we've listened to, things that we've been spending our time feeding ourselves intentionally or not, the conscious mind, as that guardian, if you work with the conscious mind, you can allow or pick and choose what information gets put inside of your mind that's eventually going to get put into your spirit and grow. If you are not working with the conscious mind in order to filter out what you're feeding yourself, information that you are experiencing day to day is coming into your mind, coming in through your eyes, through your ears, whatever you are spending your time doing, and you're taking all that information, you're on autopilot, good, bad, or indifferent, that information is getting sown into your spirit. And remember again, we said the spirit is like soil. It'll do what? It'll grow whatever gets put into it and nurture, right? So the conscious mind stands at the entrance of our spirit. And then we have the subconscious mind. And remember, we said that the subconscious mind is responsible for growing things. The subconscious mind doesn't choose. It doesn't decide what we put into ourselves. All it does is act upon the information that gets stored from the conscious mind. We also said the subconscious is like a computer program. Remember how that a computer program doesn't decide, how it's going to run. It doesn't decide what it's going to do. That information's been already put together by the programmer. So once that program runs, all it's going to do is continuously cycle and do what it's designed to do. It doesn't make choices outside of what the programmer put into it. Let's start talking about what thoughts are. So think about this. A thought is something that is one of the most powerful forces in the entire universe. Did you know that not only do we all think, animals have the capacity to think, but also the universe thinks? Isn't that amazing? Not only do we have the capacity to think, but thoughts, with the right scientific equipment nowadays, they measure your thoughts. Your thoughts put out a vibration and a frequency that can be measured by modern day equipment. That is mind-blowing, isn't it? I'd like to read something with you as we get into this lesson about thoughts that comes from a very good book. I like to read information. As you can see here on my desk, I have resources here because I'm a studier, and I'd like to always find good information and incorporate that into my life. This book is called The Science of Getting Rich. You can find it online, but here's an excerpt from The Science of Getting Rich that I would like to read to you that I think is very, very powerful, and I believe it'll really cause the points that we're going to make about the mind and how thoughts are made really hit home with you. Check this out. The Science of Getting Rich says, the stuff from which all things are made is a substance which thinks. I'm going to read that again. The stuff from which all things are made is a substance which thinks. Now, pay attention to this sentence. And a thought of form in this substance produces the form. A thought of form in this substance produces the form. Now, what that means to me is the universe and everything in it is made out of the same substance. We've kind of talked about this a little bit. We're going to get into it in further lessons, but think of it this way. Everything in the world, everything in the universe as we know it is made out of one substance, and that substance is energy. From a scientific perspective, they can measure that. They look at it with various instruments, but they've determined that everything's made out of the same substance and everything's connected. Now, from a spiritual standpoint, we may want to say everything's made out of spirit. Everything comes from the same substance, whether you say God created the heavens and the earth, it's all coming from a spiritual point of origin. So essentially, it's the same substance. So without, getting stuck on a label, if you want to look at it from a spiritual standpoint, you can say that everything is made from spirit. If you're more scientific, you can say everything is energy, right? So with that being the case, isn't it fascinating to understand that the universe thinks? And because the universe thinks, our minds, which are connected to the universe, are able to communicate. So we can, in fact, have an exchange with the world around us based on how we think. You didn't realize you were that awesome, did you? But you are. So now that we understand that everything thinks, let's talk about what thoughts are. When you have a thought, think about this. If I say the word red, right? In your mind, you don't see the letters R-E-D. Maybe you do, but for the most part, you don't see the letters R-E-D if I say the word red to you. If I say the word red, more times than not, a color comes into your mind. Your mind may completely just see red all over. Or you may think of something that's red like a stop sign or a strawberry or whatever you have taken notice of in your life that is what's known as the color red. More than likely, if I say the word red to you, that's where your mind goes. It's an image. It's a snapshot of something that goes into your mind. And every time you think of that, that's what gets recalled. That's what comes to your memory. So if I say to you red, more than likely, you see something that's an image inside of your brain that shows up as the color red. Now, I like to use an analogy of a camera. So this camera, as just like a lot of other technology that we have in the world, this camera is made off of studying how our brain works and how our eyes work, how we actually see, provided the makers of the camera with the technology to produce this camera. Isn't that fascinating? So look at it like this. This camera has what's called a lens. This lens allows you to zoom in, to zoom out, to focus on an image. And once you set all those parameters the way you like it, you can hit this button and take a snapshot of that image. Now, once you've taken a snapshot of that image, this camera is equipped with a feature that allows me to go back and review these images and preview them. If I don't like the image, I can delete it and take the image over again. If I like it, I can just save it and it gets stored, right? So, like this camera with a lens, we have our eyes. Our eyes are the lens to the camera of our mind. As we look and perceive information in the world around us, our eyes are taking in details. And we can focus, like this camera lens, on that information that we're taking in. We can look at the details, or we can completely ignore it. What happens as you observe information in your environment, like this camera, that information goes in through your eyes, which are connected to your brain. And without getting into all the science of how that all works, I'll just keep it simple. Your brain takes a snapshot of an image based on an experience that we're having. If it's a good experience you're having, your brain is taking snapshots just like this camera. And the thing that your brain does is add chemical substances that we know as emotions to mix with that image to create what we know as an experience. So if you have a very good experience based on, if you're having a really good day, for example, everything that you're seeing around you, your eyes are capturing and your brain is taking a snapshot and sending chemicals throughout your body called emotions to solidify and mark that image into your consciousness. That calls you right now, if I say, think about the person that cut you off in traffic. Immediately when you have and recall that image, your body will start feeling the emotions of everything that you were going through in that moment in time, because your brain and your eyes took a snapshot of that experience. And when you recall that experience, guess what you're doing? You are in fact having a thought. Now, when we begin to look at and understand that not only are we capable of thinking, but the universe and the world in which we live thinks as well, look at the ramifications of how you're thinking. So if you're having bad thoughts and you're putting bad thoughts out into the universe is going to work with you to continue to provide you with experiences that match the vibration of that bad thought. You can think of anything in your life that's good. And as you begin to go through that thought process and you recall those images in your mind, those good thoughts are going to release those emotions from when that snapshot was made and bring into your consciousness and into your body right now feelings that are good that match that image. So, when you begin to really consider and understand that we are able to do these amazing things like have a thought, and those thoughts work with our mind to create an experience that, if we consciously allow to do so, will get sewn into our subconscious mind, and our subconscious will grow that and put it back into the universe as a reality. You begin to really understand and feel like you have a measure of control about the quality of your life. That is a very powerful thing. And in putting on the new you, you begin to really understand and realize, hey, I need to begin to take control of some of these processes. I need to begin to take control of, like this camera, what am I looking at? What is my brain and my eyes taking a snapshot of and storing as an experience that when I recall that image, it's going to produce, not only in my present, an experience of good or bad feelings, but it's working toward bringing me into alignment with the destination that the universe is going to ensure matches the quality of the thoughts and experiences that I'm currently having whenever I take a thought. That is powerful, and I hope you begin to work with that process. So, now that we've talked about the importance of what the conscious mind is, what the subconscious mind is, and we've covered a little bit about what thoughts are and how thoughts are made, in the next lesson, we're going to dig a little further into how to work with our thoughts, how thoughts are formed within the subconscious, and how we can use our thoughts and work with our thoughts to really begin to create and manifest the kind of life and the kind of experiences that we want to have in our day-to-day experience. Once again, this is Melvin Nix. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Putting on the New You. Please go to our social media and like, share, and subscribe, and I will certainly appreciate that. Please stay tuned to the next episode, and I hope you have a wonderful day.